Hello, hello. It's coming, and I think it's running and it's recording actually. So, Radek, can we
Yeah,
start the
hello?
webinar?
Yes, we can. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So let's start it. So the last couple of technical issues. Yes. Okay. So let's start the webinar. Okay. So we can do that.
Let's go.
Okay. So let's start it then. So hello everyone. This is Luboš Pirkl from CFD Support, and I would like to welcome you to the webinar where we would like to show you what we have. It's a special system of making engineering simulations in a special mode. We call it client-server remote computing mode, and it will be our pleasure to show it to you in today's webinar. So the webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be made later publicly available. So be sure you won't disclose anything confidential. And what else? I hope all the techniques are working. And yeah, I think we can slowly start. Today, together with me, as usual, is our great head engineer and developer Radek Maca. Hello, Radek.
Hello, Luboš. Hello, and
Hello.
hello to everybody who is watching us.
That's great. So it seems that we are well set to start the webinar. So I think we will do that,
Yeah.
and perhaps we will switch the camera off, right? See
For
see
now.
see you later. I will. Let's get back afterwards. Now it would be only yeah, disturbing stuff. So I'll start. Yeah, with the information. So let's take it easy today. We will show you
I
what we
think,
have.
Luboš,
How
I think we can't see your presentation. So,
oh, I'm sorry, Radek. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry.
all
Yeah.
right, now, yeah, now
Okay.
it's
Now
there.
now you can see it. So
Perfect.
sorry. Yeah. And yeah, our nice pictures are already here. Yeah. So okay, fine. Great. So again, so yeah, I would like to start with a short introduction. I'm not gonna make it longer than it's necessary, but at the beginning, I would like to start with a little context. So let me start with the name of our company is CFD Support, founded 2009, located in Prague, Czech Republic. And here at CFD Support, we deal with engineering simulations, especially with CFD, FEA, and FSI optimization, and newly we deal with acoustics simulations. So these are our fields. We develop software. We call it simulation environment. It's called TCAE, and it's a system of software modules which are extremely flexible. Anyone can play his own game with them, create a unique workflow, and use it together with whatever it comes at hand, which I mean, it can be well synchronized with commercial codes, in-house codes, other open source pieces. It's really very flexible, and that's what we do here. TCAE is completely unlimited. It's very important, so our users can use them without any limitations on a number of users, job scores, hardware installations, and our users can use their software and especially hardware and manpower to the fullest. What's also important, TCAE is focused and accurate. I'm not gonna go too much into details. It's perfectly automated, and what's very important is TCAE is based on open sources. So it's based on many open source projects. There is more than 60 open source projects in it, made together, communicate well, and all that creates a unique simulation environment, which is of course put into the graphical interface, which is smooth and developed for Windows and Linux, and there are many other benefits. And I would like to go ahead with this invitation because we are just before the release of the new version, which will be released in 2 weeks. So I would like to invite you to the webinar, which will be in 2 weeks. Yeah, the new TCAE version 23.3 will be introduced in webinar 66 on Thursday in 2 weeks, and it will be our pleasure to show you all the stuff we have there. Again, there has been done spent a lot of time and effort to deliver again the best version ever. Okay, which brings me to the topic of today's webinar. So, as you know, or as I guess you know, that we have put the graphical interface into the ParaView, and we have used the ParaView ability or capability to work in the client server mode, and we also made it available to run the simulations in this client server, and it shows to be extremely effective because it allows the users to wherever they are, they can use their resources extremely effectively because they can if I simplify it, they can from any machine connect to another machine in this client server mode. So where the user is the client side, and the resource, the simulation resource, typically is the server side. So from the client to the server, you can make a connection and use the TCAE in a way as sitting at the server. So it's a very, let's say, unique capability because it allows you definitely to use all your resources and time and effort in an extremely efficient way. Because, for example, you can from your laptop uh, you can connect to your workstation and start the simulations and everything like remotely, or from your computer you can connect to a cluster or to a cloud and use the resource, and the workflow remains the same all the time, either whether you are at home or at work, or whether you use the client side in Linux or in Windows, of course, and all the combinations are possible. So it gives the users extremely wide range of usage of the way of how to use the simulations. So we believe that the future is will be for the users that they can choose what they what hardware, what resource will they use, and the way how they use it. So we believe that all the major added value always is created on the perhaps on your workstation. But if you need, you can send in for example in some peak loads of your simulations, you can use clouds, servers, like all the remote resources and all of the combinations. So it's very strong in this, and we would like to show you how to do that. So I will go ahead and I will ask my colleague Radek. Hello, Radek. Can you still?
Yeah, hello. Hello, I'm
Yes,
still there.
yes.
Still here.
Yeah. Great. So okay, I'll switch the presentation over to you. So let me do
Okay.
that. It will take a second. So yes, I
All right.
guess
So let
yes.
me know if
Yes,
you can see my screen.
we can see your screen. You can go ahead.
Okay. I will finish the Lubos talk by the last slide I have here, which presents the simple way how to create create the connection on the server side, to which you can then connect from the client side. So the only thing you need to do is to run PV server on the server side, and of course you need to have the connection from the client side to the server side. So I would like to show you the connection example on two scenarios, let's say. So for example, just imagine that now you are sitting at the home office at your laptop, which is not much powerful, but you would like to open or run and visualize some simulation directly from the TCAE GUI from your laptop at home, and for example visualize a mesh which has dozens of millions of cells, which such large mesh cannot be visualized or even loaded into the RAM on your laptop. So the first case will be that I will connect to my computer at my office. So the way is pretty simple. I have already running a PV server there because I'm connecting then there on the daily basis. So I have automatically run this PV server. So at the moment I need just to open the TCAE. So now we are working with the latest 23.03 development version of TCAE. So there were also a lot of improvements also connected to this client server control. So yeah, as you can see, we switched to the dark mode. So everything we will present in almost 2 weeks. So I will not highlight all the new features and I will just focus on the remote control. So I will just delete this TCAE source because first I need to connect to the server. So here you click just to connect. Here you add the server, so you can name it, for example, my CPU is called SUP, and the host is the IP address of my computer at the office. So which has this one. So if the connection is more complicated, you can create an SSH tunnel to connect to the particular case on your local network from the outside. So there are several scenarios which can be defined and implemented to connect from your topology of sitting at some place and connecting to a different place on the server side. So I just need to define the hostname and the port on which I have run the server. So this is okay. And now I will connect there because I defined some kind of connection ID. So I need to set the ID on which I have run the PV server, which I think is really the same like defined here. So no, it's different one. So I run it under this ID. So I will click OK. And now the client is connecting to the server. And now everything what I do, I am doing on the server side, including the rendering, including the data, loading data storage, whatever. So if I now click open, so I see the hard disk on the server side, which means on my computer in the office. So let me, for example, I will use one of our examples. So let me go to the installation folder. So here's my TCAE release, the latest, the development version, and I will go for the tutorials. And I will pick this pipe example, so on which we can show how it works. So now you can see that the workflow is very the same, like you are sitting at the local machine and you are working with the GUI, TCAE GUI locally. The rendering is done on the server side. So basically, it renders the images and it will send you just an image. Maybe for the second scenario where we connect to the cloud, which has just a virtual machine without a graphical interface or without the graphics. So in that scenario, it just just throw you or send you the data, and the rendering is then made on the local side. So maybe we can compare the speed of the rendering. So you can see that it's pretty fast. So now what we can set is, for example, number of processors. So for example, my computer has set 32 cores, so I can set 16. Even I am sitting at the laptop. And for the TFEA simulation, I can set also 16, for example. So let's go here. I will save my setup. And now I will run the simulation. So everything is happening. Okay, I've set just 16 numbers for the solver simulation, but not for the meshing. So now the meshing is done on 6 processors. And if I check the current usage, you can see on my local Windows machine, nothing is happening. The CPU usage is almost 0. So everything is happening on the server side, and all the information is gathered here. Okay, so mesh, I have some issues here, which, okay, maybe I've loaded, okay, all right, let's try it again. So maybe I have loaded some example which were already somehow broken, because we played a lot with the tutorials these days. So I'm not sure what exactly happened. So maybe we can try another tutorial. Okay, so let me delete it. Okay, so I will close. Or I will directly delete everything, and maybe I will open a new TCAE client, and let me open a different tutorial. Okay, so I will do the same. So again, I will delete this. I will connect to my already preset server. Again, I will put the ID. Okay, then I will connect there, and I will open different tutorials. So keep me fingers crossed. TCAE release, the latest one, tutorials. So let me load this file. Maybe we will not see the result, but at least we will see the workflow running on it. So this is some external aerodynamic case. So it's external aerodynamics of the Spitfire model. And let me quickly run the solver. So okay, let's try to run it on the fullest. Okay, here, save my current setup. Okay, project saved. Check the case to be sure. And okay, now I will run the simulation. Okay, maybe this case is a little bit larger, so the mesh generation will take a little more time. So meanwhile, we can connect to the cloud. So let's show the second scenario. So here we have an account on the Microsoft Azure, and here we have run one virtual CPU with 4 physical virtual cores. So we can connect there and run a simulation on 2 cores. So if I go to home, yeah, this is our virtual machine, and in the networking, so we have available the IP address, and we have allowed the SSH connection there to connect directly to our virtual machine. So in Windows, I can use, for example, this PuTTY system to SSH connection, just to connect there and run the PV server. So here is the IP address, of the virtual machine. So let's connect there. So there is Azure user. I think yes. So I'm there. Great. And now what I need to source the TCAE version, so the particular OpenFOAM behind. So I will source download. I think it's here. TCAE 23. Perfect. So now, yeah, the virtual machine is running on Linux, of course. So let me load the environment, TCAE environment, and now I can run the PV server. Okay, I will run it on this port, and maybe I don't need to define any connect ID. Okay, so now the server is waiting for the connection. Now let me open a new TCAE in which I will connect to this virtual machine and run the simulation directly from GUI. So again, I don't need the source, and first I need to connect to the server. So here is my definition. Yeah, so it's already my IP address here and the port I've defined. So let me try to connect there directly. Yeah, now you can see here in the SSH, so you can see the client is connected now, and because the remote display is not available or accessible, so automatically TCAE or ParaView switch to the local rendering. So everything will be rendered on my side. Only the data will be sent over the from the server to the client, and the rendering will be done on my side locally. All right, so let me open again the case. So let me try now open the tutorial for the pipe. Okay. So now it's loading. Let me check this. So here's still the message generation, which is generating. Okay, maybe it will take some more time. So let's go back to this Azure cloud connection. So everything is loaded. So let me try to check it. So first of all, I need to check. Okay, it's preset to two cores, which my virtual machine has. So it seems it is already preset, and let me run everything. So again, because I'm still connecting there, so the standard output is running on the server. So everything is running on the server, but again, the data of the current state of the simulation is sending to my client side. You can visualize the mesh as a standard, and you can see that the rendering now is a little bit slower, because it's just sending the data, so it's more data packages, so it will take some time, and then you can directly visualize, for example, the current mesh. And as you see, the simulation is running, and again the progress and everything is updated here. And finally, maybe we can wait for the result and show the result. So everything is done on the server side, and I'm sitting on my client side. So I don't need any, for example, the remote desktop control or something like that. So I can do it directly via GUI. Let's check the Spitfire. So it's still okay. The mesh is pretty large, I guess. Okay, it's almost at the end. So I think, yeah, the first component will be done. So maybe we can see that, yeah, the rendering here is much faster compared to this one. As sometimes it's a little bit, it freezes a little bit, so it's not so smooth like when you applying rendering on on the server side with the graphical card. And also it depends on the connection speed. Yeah, so it's basically two main things which influences the connection speed and these visualizations. All right, so for example, now I can visualize the mesh, which has, I guess, several millions of cells. So even I'm sitting on older laptop, I am able to visualize large meshes because of this client-server approach. So, and you can play with the mesh visualization like normal. You can do slices, you can do any visualization, you can do what you want. So let's, for example, visualize the mesh. Yeah, and so basically we can do everything you need. Okay, still computing, but maybe I can show the current results. So show CFD results, which are already simulated. Let's load. Okay, let me check it. All right, so maybe we'll wait for the final results. So let's get rid of it and wait. Okay, so maybe, oh sorry, it's already done. So now I will show CFD results with all the data inside. Okay, and again, you can visualize directly the data which were computed right now on the server. So yeah, that's it, I think. All right, so I think the procedure is pretty straightforward and simple. And I think maybe it's time for discussion, or maybe Lubos, which will add some more information. So I hope Lubos is there.
Yes, absolutely. I was waiting for you to finish. Yes, yeah, absolutely. Radek. Thank you very much. It was great. It was very very transparent and everything. So I will go ahead with the presentation actually. So yeah, that's it. The important message is that with this unique capability, TCAE is extremely flexible, also in terms of on which resource you are using it and where you are doing it and how the resources are used because of their, let's say, computational power, etc. And also in terms of operating systems, and also in terms of where you need to be and what resource you have currently at hand. So it's extremely flexible. It's a relatively new capability. We are definitely going to extend it so much. So it's currently usable, but we will extend it even with many other features. So we believe it will be even better in the future. So it's that's what we wanted to what we wanted to show you, and we would like to, I guess, move in the webinar. We have a Q&A. So I would like to ask the audience to ask their questions, and we will do our best to answer them. And we will definitely answer the most relevant and representative questions right here in the webinar. But you can be sure that all the specific case-specific questions will be answered later via email. So we will answer everything. So it's your time. You can use it to the fullest. So I see a question already. There are a couple of questions as usual. So yes, there will be a recording from this webinar. So you do not need to make any special any special notes. There will be a recording. You can view it in your leisure. And no, we don't provide certificates for this webinar because it's yeah, we don't. So it's this, yeah. And David is asking, what about the license? Let me think about it a little bit. Okay, so it's actually a good question. So in terms of business model, the license is transferable, so you can copy it on whatever device. That's okay. And in terms of client server, it's actually a good question. I think, and I'm almost sure of it. You need to have the valid license on the server side. So the server decides about the simulation. So the server has to have the license copied, but it's not that important because the license is transferable. That's this. Another question is where is the data? Yeah. It's I think I understand the meaning. The data, the simulation data are on the server side. So with the current setup and with the current workflow, the simulation data are on the server side. So the client is only you can imagine it as just a connection point to access the server. So all the important information, the same with the license, and all the data is happening on the server side. So you have to have access to the server, of course. That's this. Let me see what else we have here. Daniel, hello Daniel. Yeah, and he's asking, is it possible to watch the simulation results in the real time also? Yes, of course. It is possible. That's the fundament. That's the basics. What happens here? So you again from the client side, you open the ParaView, the TCAE, and you connect to the server. And on the server, you do all the things as usual, and the rendering and all the CPU and all the processing is happening on the server side, but you view it, you access it from the client side. So that's, yes, of course, you act like you have all of a sudden a very powerful computer in the place where you sit at. So that's the workflow is exactly the same. The way of working with the with software is the same then.
And
Okay.
maybe I can add that in the future it will be possible also to connect in this way to the already running simulation. So imagine that you run the simulation on your cluster, for example, from command line, or even from GUI, but then you can disconnect the GUI from the simulation, you can close the GUI and the simulation will be running still. And then after, if the simulation is 4 days, the second day you can again connect to the running simulation and watch what is happening again from the GUI. So this will be a new feature we thought we will manage it to implement for this webinar, but there are some issues with Linux Windows connection, right, or Windows Linux. But we are working on there, and I think this will be also very nice feature in the future, because then you will be able to disconnect from the running simulation and reconnect there from the GUI. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The new improvements are already on the way. So it will be definitely developing. I always say to our leads, this is just the beginning. This is really the potential of all the open source projects and everything is huge, and we have so many ideas and so many items on our to-do list, and it's huge. So yep. So basically, I guess this might be it. I can't see many representative questions at the moment. So, Radek, I think we should
Me neither.
conclude.
Yeah. Let's conclude.
Okay. Okay. So it was quite quicker today. So I hope you have understood what we wanted to show. So there are even more capabilities you could use with TCAE. And okay, it will be nearly it. These are a couple of those who already share our visions with us. So all of you are welcome to join us along the way. It will be our pleasure. We have picked this, and it's our, sometimes it's difficult, but it's our job, and it's mostly our pleasure to do all the stuff and make everything work. We are engineers. Okay, and this would be really it. So we would like to thank you for your attention, and let us know if we can help you, and we will do. Radek?
Yeah, just let me say thank you for watching us, and we are looking forward for your question or topics to discuss. So take care,
Okay,
and let's see you next time.
okay, okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching, and see you somewhere, sometime. Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.